pushing on, no time for breaks. That's what it really takes. What it takes. From the ground up, from dust to stars, chasing goals, chasing who you are. Every challenge, every fall, it's what it takes to rise above it all. So now you know the stories are real. What it takes is the fire you feel. Keep pushing on, no time for breaks. That's what it really takes. No shortcuts, no fake. Spit and grind for the dreams you make. And every story's got a mountain to climb. It's what it takes to stand the test of time. Dig deep, keep the fire alive. Success is built on the will to survive. No easy path, just a burning need. It's what it takes to truly succeed. It's the hustle, it's the pain, it's the sunshine through the rain. Every step, every break, that's what it really takes. From the ground up, from dust to stars, chasing goals, chasing who you are. Every challenge, every fall, it's what it takes to rise above it all. So now you know the stories are real. What it takes is the fire you feel. Keep pushing on, no time for breaks. That's what it really takes. What it takes. From the ground up, from dust to stars, chasing goals, chasing who you are. Every challenge, every fall, it's what it takes to rise above it all. So now you know the stories are real. What it takes is the fire you feel. Keep pushing on, no time for breaks. That's what it really takes. one cause no fake. Spit and grind for the dreams you make. Every story's got a mountain to climb. Hey everybody, listen, if you haven't done so yet, hit the like, hit the share. Let's get ready to get in to What It Really Takes podcast. I'm your host. Y'all ready? We about to get ready. Let's get ready to dive in. It is time. It is time. I hope that you're ready. I won't belay the time. We here. We here. We at episode again. Another one in. Listen, consistency is the thing. That's the way to make it happen. That's to make the waking dreams work. Listen, we're here. I'm in living proof of what it really takes. Continue to drive, continue to push, and listen, you're in a special place for a special treat. If you have not done so already, please do me a favor. Let somebody know, because something crazy is getting ready to happen. So I'm excited. I hope that you're ready. Hope you got your seatbelt button. I hope you got your notepad out. I hope you got pencil, paper. What's going on, Jared? Yeah, this ain't no game. This is a real live show. This is what that is. So listen, we're glad that you're here, but don't be the only one. Make sure you let somebody else know that we are in the room. We're going to get ready to get started. I want to get ready to introduce our guest that's here tonight. It's really happening. It's really happening. I believe I've been talking about this for a while. I think from episode 1, I've been talking about this night. And that's because without tonight's guest, for some of you, your pastor, your friend, your brother wouldn't be as consistent as he is today. Okay? And that's because of a group of people. This young lady, her content, her information, the things that she provides to us, amazing, par excellent. They say that she is the voice of AI. I would say that I'm gonna tell you why later in just a moment. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I feel that is true. So listen, she brushed shoulders. Now she is the one that people want to brush shoulders to. She's the one that many people want to fill up arenas, rooms to come and see the person I'm about to announce. They want to see her. They want to be in the room. They want to sit at her table. Listen, can you imagine that? I know her story. I'm going to ask all the questions. I promise you I am. To be able to sit in the place that she sits, I admire this individual, period, point blank. She knows what she's doing. She understands it, able to read the room, and we're going to pull her in. We're going to pull into her mind and find out what it really took to get to where she is today. I want to introduce to some, present to others, none other than Miss Nicky Saunders to the stage. What's going on?
What's poppin'? Okay, I hear the air horns.
Listen, you ain't the only one with air horns. You got a different air horn. They gave you custom over at Nicky Moose show. Okay, I know.
I got you.
I know. What's going on, Nicky?
What's poppin'?
What's going good? We here.
I can't complain.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you this. If you don't know, Nicky and Moose now had their own air horn. I just got the basic thing that comes with Road Pro. That's it. That's all I got.
Hey,
they got.
That's fine. That's fine right
they
there.
Gucci.
I'm right there.
So, I'm glad you're here.
This is a great opportunity. I'm ready to dive into your mind. But
Come on. Ask
I,
away. I'm an open book.
I first got to
Ask
start
away.
here. Okay. You are, I would call you the guru of Chat GPT. Okay. I will tell you
I
why.
know a few things.
You know
Okay.
a few things. I think I asked a question to Chat GPT. I said, who is Nicky Saunders? And if
Hmm.
you did not know, it tells me exactly who you are to the up to
Praise God.
date T to what you
Praise
do
God.
currently. I said, I don't know if that's because she talked to him a whole lot or what.
Could be. Could be.
I don't know. So uh, let's talk about it. So
Good.
I hear, I know you talk about this story that you're an introvert.
I am.
And to be now sitting in the place of stages, rooms that demand you to come outside of the place of an introvert,
Hmm.
how do you navigate through that? How did you get to that place to not be as shy, not be as timid, uh, to pull on your gift?
So I think it has everything to do with understanding the balance of when you need to turn that on and when you have to turn it off, right? So meaning like I know like my purpose. And so for me not to show up on these stages, on content, wherever I need to show up, wherever it's called to be, I'll be doing a disservice. So sometimes I got to get out of my comfort zone to be able to do what I'm supposed to do. So, but I do find a balance as far as like I may like dip out real quick. So if I'm in a big crowd or whatever, I'll say my highs, I give my hugs, I'm a big hugger, and then you may not see me. May not see me at all, right? And then I'll pop up and I'll do what I need to do. And I'm real big on like checking my energy and knowing like when to dip and when not to. So it's more, I do know in this season I have to be a little bit more in my like uncomfortable vibes, but I do have this way of I'm still more in my comfortable situation than more of my uncomfortable situation. So I could be able to serve uh, with great amount of value.
Okay. So if it's an on off switch,
Hmm.
would you say you've mastered the switch or is it a progress? Is a process?
I don't think I've mastered it. No, because there's certain situations that will need me to stay in my uncomfortable vibes a little bit longer than I want to, and I'm still navigating those scenarios. So I can't say I've mastered it, but I feel very confident in showing up when I need to show up. So I don't go outside in every event. Like I'm picking which events I need to do. I'm picking which gigs to say yes to. I'm picking which lives and podcasts and things like that that I'm saying yes to. Um, because when I show up, I want to give 100% to it. You know, so I can't say I'm mastered, but I'm in a good vibe with it.
Okay. So so what I'm gathering is that evaluating, do you think not knowing who you are as an individual would
Hmm.
help an individual to become the best version of themselves, if, or do they need to know who they are first before
Hmm.
presenting a product or being.
Yeah, I think understanding who you are is the foundation, right? So, main thing is like if you're an introvert and you off top try to come outside, do videos 24/7, you are not going to be consistent because that's not naturally you. So, understanding how you are, how do you communicate, um, how do you receive content, how do you set, like, buy and sell, like, understanding these things can help you grow, right? There's a beginning stage because normally you speak to who you are. So if you're selling something, you're normally speaking to somebody similar to yourself, right? Because you know their language, you know their mannerisms, you know certain keywords and triggers. Then you're learning how to expand afterwards. What are the way they receive information, receive content, like what are their trigger words to buy something? Because some people may be okay with, hey, this is fire and you love me, and they're like, I do, here you go. And some need to be a little bit like, it got to be a date. Hey, I just want to say I'm gonna be here tomorrow, don't worry about it, take this, I'll be here tomorrow, come back the next day, hey, hope you enjoyed everything, look, I got something, but we don't even have to talk about that right now. Just I hope you like what you got today as well. And you're doing this over and over again to then they're like, "Oh, yo, what was that thing that you said that you had?" No doubt. I'm here cuz I see the value, right? Um but that takes a little bit longer, and if you don't know who you are, you won't have the patience for that, you know? You think, okay, I'm supposed to take this idea, execute on it, launch it, I'm done. And you're supposed to buy it because it fulfills a purpose, it creates a transformation, I filled all the boxes. And it's like, no, you still have to talk to people in the way that they receive. But the only way you can do that is first understanding who you are and then expanding after that.
So we can't just give the done for you version that people are accustomed to. Just give. Most people are looking for the done for you versions.
Yes.
They don't want no work. They don't want their input. But do you believe that people are bought into an individual, or they're bought into the framework of what goes with what they do? Do they really care, or is it a
I
person?
think I think it goes with both,
Okay.
right? There is a product and service for everything. So it's not that the solution isn't already out there. It's a matter of how are you communicating that I know it's for me, right? How is your lifestyle? How have you changed? What is your values? What is your principles? You know, what are the results? And I'm seeing you live it to the point where, okay, yeah, there are 100 other courses like this, 100 other communities like this, 100 other books like this, things like that. But for some reason, I rock with yours. So, but what keeps me all as well is not just you, it's the transformation, it's the feeling, it's the feeling safe and feeling seen and heard. So, yes, you as an individual do play a role, but the product still has to be quality too, you know? So, and we think of just there's a whole bunch of fashion lines, there's a whole bunch of life coaches, there's a whole bunch of podcasts, things like that. But there's a reason why people follow or buy from each one. And then when you dissect that, you go, okay, what about me? Who am I talking to? Like, or am I trying to talk to everybody? Because that's my first mistake. I'm trying to talk to everybody. I just want the bag, or I just want the impact, the followers, whatever. So I feel like my product, my service, my brand is for everybody, which isn't true. It's made for a specific group of people, and that specific group of people is going to get you out to the world. But if you hone in on that, then you're good. 2, what is the transformation? And then 3, what is the feeling? Right? If you can take care of who am I talking to, what is the transformation, and how am I going to make them feel? Then it's never a product problem, it's a messaging problem. If you can't figure that out. And then figuring out, always getting 1% better with the experience of the product. Because I know there are plenty of people who may have like mid products, mid services, but they stay because of the brand. Now, if the service and the product gets worse, then they'll leave. It takes a minute. But this is why, as brand owners, business owners, we got to look at it from a sense of like, okay, I have to get this 1% better. Just 1% better each and every single solitary time. So how can I get, when they get the product, how can it just not just be from a box and here's the product? Like, am I writing a note? Is there something extra that they weren't expecting? Is there a follow-up email of some way, shape, or form? Sometimes if we can't get the product completely right at that moment, what is the experience that we're giving them? And that will create retention in your brand. So like I said, it's a little bit of both.
So it's I want to say the word. I want to say because it's deeper than the brand.
Come on.
Hey,
Come on.
hey,
It is what it is.
it's deeper than the brand. If y'all don't know what deeper than brand is, you need to go over, check out Nicky and what they have to offer for deeper than the brand. It's
Yes, sir.
videography, it's Canva, how to use AI, how to strategize, how to become a better version of yourself, be challenged with community and people. It's deeper than just, like you said, visuals. It's a plug, and I ain't ashamed because I'm deeper than the brand all day.
Come on. Come
So,
on.
listen, it's deeper than the brand. So, that makes my next question to be, if it's deeper than the brand, systems must be in place. So, what helped you to realize you needed a system?
When things weren't working. I'm just saying, like, I will say I've been very blessed with having a community that is very supportive, right? And very forgiving, I will say, because I didn't always have it right. And so when the first times we would do workshops and courses, there weren't follow-up emails. There wasn't a welcome video. There wasn't people walking you through. There wasn't events that keeps you engaged, right? That happened through the time of like understanding, okay, what is a platform that will allow us to do this and not having to do things manual? Like finding what is the problem and what is the tool, what is the system that will allow us to continue with this event, continue doing what we want to do. And so it took a lot of, let's say, a lot of error, a lot of mess ups, and a lot of forgiveness, for us to figure out, okay, we need a system. We need to get the right platform, Mighty Networks. We need to have Notion as more of a database and storing certain things. We need to have an email system, whether it's Active Campaign for us from a marketing side or whether it is ConvertKit from a newsletter personal side. You know, what are what are we doing with Zapier, however you want to pronounce it, and how is it all being connected instead of you doing things manually, right? What is it to make it super easy in your life? Chat GPT, Opus, like all my AI stuff has made the creativity side and the brainstorming side so much easier, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at the problem, like, what am I trying to do? And what is the steps to make that happen? And me, the type of person that I am, I'll come up with an idea and I'll go. And before, I wasn't very, I didn't respect systems because I felt like it slowed you down. But I'm realizing that I have broken a lot of stuff because I never took the time to create a system. And so now I'm intentionally taking hours of my day to create the system. So if I have an idea, I'll find out all the things that I need to do. I'll put it in Claude or ChatGPT to create a certain project. And then now certain tasks are done automatically that would normally take me a day to do, you know? And so little by little, creating SOPs. That's another big thing, especially for business owners. Like, are you creating certain SOPs to replace yourself so you're not always doing it? You know what I mean? So yeah, systems is needed.
Needed. So if the system's needed and we're using systems in everyday life, we never outgrow system.
No.
It's never. So systems make life easy. Systems helped you to get to where you are, but along with failures,
Yeah.
along with broken parts. How did you
Yeah.
bounce back from the failures? How? And you're an introvert, so a failure. Because I could talk about myself. I was on a interview last night, and the question was, "What was your first video that you posted to your channel?" And I said, "Let's find out." 5 years ago, I was trying to do this very same thing, and it wasn't it. 2 years later, I did the same thing. One video, nothing else. And I said, it wasn't until I realized our mindset and said, I got to be consistent and pushing past everything else. I realized, oh, I know, we bounce back and we win. But what does that failure look like as a creator? Somebody that people's always going to asking for advice. And sometimes it might have been right after one of your greatest failures. How did you bounce back? How did you continue to keep your mind focused? It may not have been you. It may have been somebody else or whatever. But how did you overcome failure to still get to where you are now?
So I don't even like using the word failure, right? Because the only time that you fail is when you quit, right? So when you're done, I'm out of here. The job isn't done. That's the failure, right? So I have a lot of lessons. I'll say that I have a lot of lessons where I would think something would go a certain kind of way and it necessarily didn't, right? Um, I would say one of the biggest things in it, as far as a lesson, is when it has to come with team, right? Um, the hey, grab your friends, grab all the people who are doing it with you, right? This is going to be the best thing because you guys are on the same page, what you assume. And the problem with me is that I assume that. Uh, come to find out that you're not on the same page. Just because you have the same skill set, interests, maybe same love for one another, that doesn't necessarily make it a great team, right? So I've learned a lot of lessons of what it takes uh, to have a team or to even want a team, right? I've actually come to, with everything that has happened, I've become more known from a solopreneur standpoint and allowing the systems and certain contractors to help me than necessarily have this big team, just because I'm realizing with my journey that AI has actually helped me take care of certain things that I was almost depending on people for, right? Having the right systems has allowed me to be like, yo, I don't necessarily need a team of 7, 10, or whatever. I may need a strong team of like 3, that if I was to set it up right, they could just go, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? Oh, cool. So I think my biggest lessons from my journey is understanding the need and the roles of a team, the clarity that is needed, because people will, I will say, I want a team, I want a team, I want a team, I want a team. Uh, my my big my big bro, aka CJ, has always been the guy to say, hey, if you're a team, you got to join a team, right? And so I'm on one of the best teams right now, which is I work with Dr. Eric Thomas, aka ET the Hip Hop Preacher. And so looking at that dynamic, it teaches you what you want and what you don't want, right? And I've made a lot of mistakes to where I see what is and I kind of mirror it, not understanding and not realizing that I have my own path and it's not working because you weren't supposed to do that. You're supposed to look at the blueprint. You're not supposed to always copy the blueprint because that's not your blueprint. And so I was making a lot of mistakes of copying that blueprint. And now coming to find my own path and my own way, that maybe to them, yo, that's not how I would do it, but it's not your journey. You have your blueprint. It's worked. It's worked great. This blueprint is starting to work. This blueprint is starting to have a lot of clarity. I'm creating a lot of impact. And the people that I have impacted, it's good. Like, it's working. Like, I see the change. So if I was to double down and not necessarily think I'm doing it wrong because I'm not doing it like you, and I could stop the comparison game, right? Then things will start working. And then that's exactly what happened. It started to work. I started to be like, and I admit it, I did this all wrong. In the beginning, I did this all wrong. And I'm proud to say that, not ashamed to say that, because I was doing it wrong because I looked at and compared to what was already out there instead of going and channeling into my introvert ways and doing that lockdown situation and asking and praying for clarity of what is my path and what is needed. And then, okay, I got you. This is what is supposed to happen. And then you're still going to hear little things here and there, especially from people who you admire, right? People you've looked at, people who have opened doors for you, and you're going to hear that over and over again. And I had to literally like close that out. Thank you. I appreciate you, because I never want you to think that I'm not listening, right? I have 2 ears. Like I'm supposed to listen more than I speak. Shout out to Quincy Jones, who I heard that on a book, and I was like, facts, right?
Big fact.
But but I'm now understanding the mistakes that I've made that has gotten me to a certain point is all because I was looking at others. And that hits a ceiling, you know? And so if I want to get past that ceiling, if I want to break through that ceiling, I have to stop looking at what they did and really focusing and asking for clarity for what I need to do.
Good God. You said you started. What did you start as under ET? Because if we go back in the day, I've seen pictures of you in his videos, in clips. But what were you at the start?
I was a volunteer. I was just a volunteer. I went from a person who was sitting in the seats. Well, let's take it back. I was a person who was just an online member to a person who was sitting in the seats, VIP, to a volunteer for several years, to then being on the team. And so being the social media manager, to then eventually being the head of media for the company.
So you're head of media now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're head of media underneath ET, Hip Hop Preacher, CJ, Carl. That's a whole podcast powerhouse by itself. But if you guys
Yes.
are not there, you're missing something. So you're doing that, but they allowed you, after being loyal, being a student,
Yeah.
to still venture off and do what you do. And you said that's their blueprint, but I have a blueprint too.
Yes, sir.
When does it make sense? When does it make sense to still be loyal to what you've been loyal to, but at the same time venture into your blueprint?
I'm big on loyalty, right? I'm big on keeping home safe and priority. However, I'm an individual. And so everything about me is not everything about me, but a lot about me, the main things, is complete opposite of that culture, right? So I am Black and Puerto Rican from New York, right? So New York has this kind of flashy kind of vibe sometimes. We're aggressive,
We talk
right?
about the shoes behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I got like 7 of those. I got like 7, right? And so from that, and then also with my sexuality, I didn't even think I was going to be part of the team, because if anybody knows E is a whole pastor, right? Whole thing. So I'm like, I do not fit in any way, shape, or form, right? So eventually I had to find my own group that made me feel safe. Not saying I never felt safe with E. Never, never, he never made me feel uncomfortable. That whole squad never made me feel uncomfortable, made me feel very accepted, right? However, I did feel that that would hit a certain point. Like there was more to me than being under uh, the model, the mold, right? What one of the biggest lessons that I've learned when it comes to being on that team is being yourself, is being that true authentic side. E is a black man who yells, who wears a baseball cap, who wears J's, who could wear shorts to a corporate. You gon' get
Get the
E
E.
in all sense. I have a sweaty shirt. I'm gonna give you a piece of content regardless, right? He taught me that that's acceptable, right? To where in the beginning of being with E, I would tuck my chain in. You feel me? Just to be, because you never see E with chains, with watches, jewelry of any way. I would tuck. I wouldn't say anything. Like I would do my job and I would keep it moving. And I'm realizing that if there is a group, a community for him that accepts him, there's an audience for him. And I'm not looking at numbers, right? Because that could get discouraging. I'm comparing 2 million people to what I have. I'm not never going to do that. I'm just looking at the base of if a person can stand 10 toes down and speak to people and they're like, I accept you, I love you, I rock with you, whatever you may need. I'm like, I could do that, right? I could do that for who I'm called for. And so for me, I was like, I keep home home. I make sure that's good. I will forever represent where I came from, right? But in order for that legacy to continue, I have to do my own thing as well. So I have so much respect for E and C and Carl that I have to create something else in order for what that is over there to not die. So we look at just different things that we love. Let's talk about sports. If we look at from something from the greats like Michael Jordan, you can see Michael Jordan into Kobe. You can see Jordan with LeBron and some of the greats that we have. All the greats have been kind of has inspired the new people, right? Have inspired the new legends. And so that's how I kind of look at things of is not necessarily venturing to just do my own thing and leave that alone and peace, thank you. That's it, right? Though, we do that with our 9 to 5s. Shout out to
Hey,
all of our nine
quickly.
to fives, right? Right. Yes. Certain ones. There's others that, I'm very grateful for. But for this, it's more looking at it from a sense of you gave me a sense of you opened my eyes to my purpose. And so for that, I'm going to create something that they know the foundation came from that. So I look at it in a sense of that it's needed for me to do something on my own. For one, to have that sense of acceptance and community, but also to continue what is being built.
That's that's loyalty. Like that you don't burn. They always say, don't burn the bridge. Don't mess
Mm-mm.
nothing up because you want to be yourself.
Yeah.
And for a leader to be able to allow you to still be yourself is amazing
Mm-hmm.
because I see so many people that get tied up as a vendor or growing. And what do? They become like their leader. They become talk like them. Be like, who are you? You're not the
Yeah.
same person because they really know
Yeah.
you. So
Mm-hmm.
for your people in New York, home, they want to see you in that cadence, being
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Even after everything that we learn, I still
Mm-hmm.
want, they still want the John, they still want the Nicky, they want authentic you. And they could tell
Mm-hmm.
when you're being a fraud and they don't buy
Mm-hmm.
in to fraudness. That's just what people don't do.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to wrap this up. So this is the thing. Most people,
So,
if you heard my theme song playing at the beginning, it's because of you guys that I'm able to do that. That's all AI completely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, went to class one time. They was dropping gems, nuggets, everything. And before the night was over, oh, I had it together. Put it on. I said, Deeper the brand is different. Okay. If
Mm-hmm.
you ain't with Deeper than the brand, you missing something
Yeah.
because it allows you to grow. Uh, Deeper to the brand, like I said, the business is one thing, but the community is different. Different.
Yeah.
Uh, you got a friend over there. If you got graphic designers, artists, songwriters, notoriety, everything over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're attracted to your voice, and we appreciate your voice. Again, I'm a byproduct of Deeper in the Brand. Because I wouldn't have been as consistent as I am today off of one live. One live that I was in, I would say it was the worst day of my life for the moment. I was going through a crisis, but I was
Mm.
still wanting something more. Uh, and when I came into the room of Deeper Than the Brand, the community of people, the content, the information changed my life to the point that I'm able to sit here today on podcast number 5 to be able to tell you what it really takes is real. So you guys helped me. Thank you, Nikki, for helping me push through. The team, Deeper Than the Brand, helped me tunnel through. I'll say thank you to your friend, E.T., the hip hop preacher. He helped me. He probably don't even remember talking to me because he talked to millions of other people.
Mm-hmm.
I was outside on a Sunday morning. This is when they was doing those telephone calls, group calls that he would do in the morning. And he took a question from me and he answered the question about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, all right. And he's very upfront, very blunt, and
Mm-hmm.
tell us real on top of real. And I appreciate him. I appreciate you guys. Uh, Listen, it's been a good time talking to you. It's been a good time. Thank you for coming through. I'm going to tell you one other thing. I really
What's up?
thought you wasn't messaging me. I thought AI was doing its best work. Okay. I said, man, she must be got AI assisting her because they are doing her thing. Thank you for taking the time. We know you're
Course.
busy. We know you have time, but thank you for not taking robbery to come and sit down with us over here on What It Really Takes podcast. And any final words?
Uh, Not really. I think the only thing I would say is there's a community out for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like what you have is really, really, really important to the world. And though we may not think that amongst ourselves, because we're like so critical of ourselves, we think, you know, it may have taken you mad long to start the podcast because there was doubts. I don't know if I don't have the right equipment. I don't know what to say. There's some people who don't start their business. Some people who don't even apply for that job because it's just a lot of doubt. But the crazy thing is like the second that we accept who we are, that doubt is gone. Like I move with no fear. I move with not needing validation. I just move. And so it's so important to like figure out who you are, move in that authentic self, and find that community that keeps you safe to continue to be who you are. Because if you don't have those people that are like, yo, I love who you are, I rock with you, this is why we're here, you're going to fall back into your very critical self. So find that community because there's a community for everybody.
Thank you. Listen, that's your final thoughts. But that was to me. That was to this guy. Thank you so much, Nicky, for making it
Absolutely.
personal. And if you guys didn't watch last week's episode, we talked about overcoming self doubt. And listen, that's the truth. It's nothing but the truth. We all face it. We have to go back and overcome that very thing, self doubt, because the greatest deal with it, the minute deals with it, everybody does, and we have to fight through it. So, again, thank you to our guest, our friend Nicky. Thank you. We appreciate you. And listen, subscribe, like, comment, share. Let everybody know that guess what? The first guest was dope. I don't know how we're going to top this. This is my number one. I'm trying to tell you. It was a bucket list, and it's been checked off. Thank you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week, guys.